Hey everybody, been a day or two, running a little late. Uh, Turned out my Restream had to be updated, my OBS needed updated, and my Streamlabs needed updated. So took me a little bit to get on. Glad to see everything still works. Since the last broadcast, I had a pretty nasty lightning storm over this way. Hey Rick, Jen, Jersey, Alazan, thanks for joining me. Going to be kind of a short broadcast. We got something a little thing that I've been watching for over a week now that's brewing up down close to Florida. Actually, there's two. One is just an area to watch right now. Go ahead and get into it. I didn't really get nothing here, Rick. I basically just got rain. Kind of died out. Had something interesting happen the other day, and I didn't get no video of it. We had a nice derecho coming at us that came all the way out of South Dakota, and I think it ended up traveling over 600 miles. Hey, Brian. And yeah, Rick, you got more down there in Kentucky, Cincinnati, and Kentucky, and Northern Ohio. But that derecho the other day, right as it got close to me, I started seeing an outflow boundary, and usually that's a sign that the storm's behind it is collapsing. And sure as you know what, the good stuff that was coming at me collapsed, but the outflow boundary hitting the warm air out ahead of it, it blew up, and I didn't get to see a whole lot out of it till after it passed, but it was pretty interesting watching the formation of the shell cloud along that outflow boundary. And it got a lot of spin in different areas in it, but it didn't produce anything here worth a heck. So I didn't bother getting any video. So anyway, let's talk the tropics. Get my scene up here. And the two areas that I've been watching, they were waves that came off of Africa about a week ago. I'll zoom on them. This is one here in the Gulf. But this one, it was number two wave this past week. And it's actually got, as you see there on the ticker on the bottom, it's got a 50% chance of forming something over the next 5 days. And they just upgraded that 5 day 39 minutes ago, the 8 o'clock advisory. And let's go ahead and this is the official 8 o'clock. Blow it up here and make it easier for you to see. These are the areas that they expect to do some sort of formation. Basically, it's just going to be a rainmaker. But as I've told you before on tropical storms, the worst part of it is on the northeast quadrant. And so most of the rainfall is going to be out in this area. Florida and Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe even Virginia, is going to get a lot of rain off of this. But yeah, it was only like a 20% this morning. Yeah, yeah, Jen, 20% this morning, and it went up to 40 earlier, and now it's at 50, and it's got a 30% on the next 2 days. Now this is Invest 98L. They did give it a designation today. Now the other area in the Gulf, it's just an area to watch. It's mainly going to be bringing a lot of rain on the coast of Texas and up through Louisiana, and expected to cause some major flooding, especially Houston, but Houston always floods. And let's see here. Let's get back to the GR Earth. And it's going to do some flickering, but I want to load up some radar history here, or satellite history. Now there is some moderate shear that's kind of holding this thing back just a little bit. Let me get this down here where I can display this better. And it may be a little hard to see. There is about right in there. It's a little hard to see. Let me try water vapor here. The bad thing about doing these 8 o'clock advisory updates is I have no visible satellite. It's really hard to see. Sometimes it kind of looks like it's spinning clockwise, but it's not. It's really a broad area. Actually, it's probably more in this area is where the center of it would be. A little disorganized. Now you can see some new model runs start to show up here, but they have it going west, and I really don't think that's going to happen. Let me turn the satellite back on. There is a high pressure over in the Gulf right now. About right in there. You can see how that's spinning clockwise. Now, some of these models must be thinking that high is going to steer it, but I don't think so. I think it's going to go right up the East Coast where the Hurricane Center has the cone at. It's not moving very fast. It's moving northwest at about 8 miles per hour. The pressure on it's 1,015 millibars. Now, they haven't started flying through it yet. So this is all from satellite and other observations from ships and buoys and stuff like that they're coming up with the information. But you could really see this moisture here in the Gulf, and that's from the first tropical wave that came this week. And it came up down here through the bottom of Mexico, and that high has pulled it up here, and you can see how it's starting to affect the coast here. That could produce a low pressure system. but I don't think, as of the models, that it's going to do any formation. Go back to infrared. Now, if you watch this loop, you can see how the storms is actually okay. I just seen the center. Center's up in here. Uh, but notice how all the storms are blowed off on the east side. That's the wind shear. Hey, Lizanne. So, irregardless how strong it is, even if it does or does not form, it's going to mean a lot of rain for Florida. Because in the low levels, it's really hard to see here. You could really see it on the visible satellite earlier. There's a sea breeze that's coming out of the east and blowing west. So it's going to be blowing a lot of this rain over towards Florida. Now let's take a look at the models. And I'll bring up the Euro. Right now the GFS isn't really showing anything at all. Now let's stay on Continental. And I'll scroll it down here. Go through a few frames here. And here you actually, this model run is actually showing it forming that low right on the east coast of Florida. And here you can see this low down there in Texas. But watch this thing as I step ahead. Now, what I'm watching, I'll zoom in on it. Is that right there? Watch that as I move ahead. The Euro has this thing getting a lot stronger. Notice the circles around the L. That's your lines of equal pressure. The closer those lines get together, the stronger the wind field. So watch this as I step it ahead. Look at that. Look how tight those circles are. And the pressure there is expected to be 995 millibars. Now at that point, it's definitely going to be a tropical storm. Hey, Southpaw. I haven't been on that long. About 10 minutes maybe. But yeah, at that point with 995 millibars and the lines of equal pressure that close, that will definitely be a tropical storm. Don't know how strong it'll be just yet. And this is looking at this will be for Tuesday. Oh, that isn't right. Thursday. Now the good news is, as I run this out, it starts heading out to sea. But look how much stronger it is right there. 993 millibars is what they're expecting. So far, the main model runs has it moving out to sea. It's going to take a right-hand turn. It'll be interesting to see. As you can see up here in the north, there's a real strong low pressure up here that's expected. That being counterclockwise, that could help steer that. Tropic, Western Atlantic. As you can see right now, there's a high pressure system out here around, it's well east of Bermuda. That's Bermuda right there. So that clockwise motion is going to help steer it. And there she blows up there in the upper left hand corner. and starts getting stronger. Now this is looking at the continental forecast. Keep an eye on it. Right there. Keep an eye on that. Watch what she does. There comes that high, and that should steer it. It'll wrap around and go east. Now the model run don't go out that far. Oh, there's a blocking high up here. Be interesting to see what that does, but that's well past the US. So there you go. That's what we got in the Atlantic. Chantel, it's down to a tropical depression. It's kind of fizzling out. Look at the cone on this. I mean, it's just kind of like turning in circles and then dying out. That's through Saturday. So nothing to worry about with Chantel. Actually, Chantel, I was going to broadcast last week. It started out, it was like 10%. And it was down there around the panhandle of Florida. Scooted across. It never really did anything until it got up around Virginia and that. And then it turned east. And so it's been going out to sea. That was 97L. And then after it went out to sea, and the reason why that it went out to sea, I'll show you here. There was the good old Bermuda High, which was right there. So that turning clockwise, that was 97L. Chantel was 97L. So that high turning clockwise, it steered it right around to the north. It went up and around and stayed out to sea. So it didn't form until it got over 600 miles, I think it was, away from the coast. Now the storm we got right now is 98L. That one right there. And over the next 48 hours, it's at 30% chance of formation. 5-day is 50%. And I won't have another update till like 2 in the morning. So we'll just have to keep a close eye on this. Now there are some other waves that's coming off of Africa. Let me stop that. Now it's really calmed down. Earlier, it was really strong. But the models that I seen on it, once it got off of the coast, there's some islands over there. It was headed for that, and it's running into dry air. So there's your water vapor. There's some dry air if it goes northwest. But it looks like it's going to go due west now. The models earlier this morning did have it going northwest. Then we got this other wave right there. Now there's something about tropical waves. And one reason why they call it a wave, because it comes off of Africa just like a wave. Every 3 to 5 days, there's another one that comes across. And what it does, it will build a trough on the tropical wave, and then the storms fire up behind it. You'll typically have clear skies off to the west side of the trough, and then all the storms build up behind it. So as you can see, Let me zoom out here. There'll be a trough here, trough here. And the storms always build back behind the trough as it comes across. Now, this one that was coming off the coast of Africa earlier. Let me see if I can back up on this. Yeah, it was looking a lot stronger, like real early this morning, but I can't go back that far. But yeah, daggone it. Now over here in the Pacific, we do have Ivo, and the model, as you can see here, has this thing going up and curling back towards the U.S., the bottom of California. But as you can see, it's going to be a depression, and the only thing that the models are showing right now, it's probably going to bring some moisture in that to California and Arizona. See what they're calling this thing now. They still got it as a tropical storm, but the cones were kind of showing it could turn into a small hurricane. Well, they've changed it on this run. They got it as a tropical storm with up to 73 miles per hour. That's just under a Cat 1. 74 mile per hour would be a Cat 1. And that's pretty much it of what's going on. None of the other ways that fired up earlier this week is really doing anything. Let me switch over to the Goes West satellite. As you can see, all these waves, they just kind of fell apart. So Ivo is the only one that kind of holding together. And the bad thing about it going north or northwest, it's going to be running into cooler waters. So at that point, it will start dying out. Now the good news is for the Atlantic, if you want storms, El Nino, which was warm waters here in the Pacific, and that's what was sparking all the storms over the past several weeks. That was creating a lot of wind shear that was blowing back over the Atlantic. Well, El Nino has died. It's tamed down. So that's the reason why these two tropical waves is looking a lot better than what we've been seeing over the past few weeks. Now we do have dry air. That brown right there, just behind the Invest 98. But I kind of expect that is going to die out. That'll start filling in. Remember here a few weeks ago, my last broadcast, there was all kinds of dry air all back in here. And that's really starting to fill in, excuse me. Hi, Molly. Yeah, I'm not liking the confidence on these model runs right now that's showing up. The Euro has it forming. Let's see here. Put it in red. The Euro has it forming about right there. but then it's going to go up and go that direction. And I trust the euro. I haven't got a chance to look at all the spaghetti models, but there is a lot of them that has it going this way. And then, well, let's see here. It's got it going like this and then going up. So we'll just have to wait and see. The only thing that could draw this thing to the west is this high pressure here in the Gulf. That's the only thing that could draw it that direction. And I think it's far enough away. I don't think it's going to. We got this low pressure here, right there, but that's going to be going away. And a high pressure will fill in here, and that high pressure will take it right up the coast. Yeah, I'll know quite a bit more tomorrow. I'll most likely, before I go to sleep in the morning, I'll check the models and the 8 o'clock in the morning update. And then I'll know even more on the 2 o'clock in the afternoon update. And as soon as I hear of any recon that's scheduled for it, then I'll let you all know. Like I said, the model runs that I've shown you earlier was for like next Wednesday and Thursday. So we got a lot of time. I mean, just the 5-day forecast. Come on. There's that 5-day forecast. And that's where NHC is really expecting it to go. And looking at the model runs, I think it will too. There's going to be a low that's going to form way up to the north. And once it does, that'll help steer it up that east coast too. Plus, if we end up with this high that forms out here, that'll help to steer it. My hands are shaky. I can't draw worth a hoot. So in other news, as you can see at the top of my screen, I've got a new goal. All the updates and upgrades that I had planned, I'm having to put it on hold. And it looks like I need to be worried about moving. Having a little troubles with the one neighbor here. Keeps letting his dog go to the bathroom right in front of my window air conditioner. It's been making me sick. And he's a convicted felon for murder. Spent a lot of time in prison years ago. So I don't trust him. And he's been making threats because I turned him in to the landlord. Even sent 50 videos of his dog doing its business right in front of the AC. And so now he's making threats to do bodily harm. And the police has had a talk with him, but he's starting back up again. The guy's crazy. I've never trusted him. And he's the kind of guy, I mean, he's older than me, but he's in a lot better shape than me. And he's the kind of guy that would sneak up behind you and stab you in your back. So, don't know where I'm going to move to, but I can't get any good doctors here. I don't have any transportation. to get it to any of the good doctors. So I think it's time for me to move. I need to get up out of here. So that's what's going on. And I'll probably start doing 8 o'clock broadcast again. It'll be somewhere between 8:15, 8:30 Eastern time. I'm in Southwest Ohio. No, I'm not a veteran. I could get a lot more help if I was. It's just this particular area. Uh, there's no transportation available. Uh, my insurance that I have won't pay for medical transportation, and I really need to get in to see a cancer doctor. So I've been here going on 3 years, and I've had to fight with it. The last reliable transportation I had, the guy died. He lived in the building across from me, and he passed away. And that was my last reliable transportation. So I'm actually thinking about moving back up in Northwest Ohio. I had a lot of good doctors up there, a lot of good doctors, and I have a lot of friends up there that will help me out that I've known for years. A lot of them used to be my customers. A lot of my old customers that I had when I had the computer store, they turned out to be really good friends, and I know they would help me out. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm moving up there or not. So, with that, folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I have a lot more information tomorrow. So thanks everybody. I appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you again 8 Eastern time tomorrow. Well, 8:15 to 8:30. It gives me a little bit of a chance to go through all the latest model runs and that. So with that, y'all have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow.